Hi, this is George Cao, and welcome to the series where I am interviewing successful life coaches who are generous to share their strategies for how they were able to build a full-time income through life coaching. And the reason why I think this series is important is because most life coaches, and it's not known, but most life coaches are not able, for one reason or another, to earn a full-time living doing it. And it's because maybe they're not using the right strategies, which is what this series hopes to address, or they're not implementing the strategies in a consistent way, which is why I think all of us, need a coach to help us, or need a group of people to help us consistently apply the right strategies. So today I'm honored to join by Rebecca Skeele. And Rebecca, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You did well.
Good. Rebecca Skeele is a successful life mentor. I'm going to let her tell you all about what she does, but she was recommended to me by a mutual friend of ours, and she's going to share with us how she was able to build her business and what suggestions she has for those of us who are building a life coaching business and want to actually make a go at it. So Rebecca, thank you so much for being here, and yeah, thanks for being here today with me.
Thank you, George. And I'm delighted to help out and support and share. So, yeah, this is
Wonderful.
great.
So maybe we can start by having you share with us, what do clients seek you out for?
Okay, so what they say they're seeking me out for and what they really are seeking me
Yeah,
out.
that's really, no, this is a good point. It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
are really two different things.
Mhm.
I call myself a heaven on earth mentor and a
Mhm.
wisdom teacher.
Mm.
So, pretty much someone is wanting to connect more with what you would call your spiritual guidance, your spiritual nature, and also begin to live a better life. I call it the heaven on earth life. And this is
Mm.
an inner heaven. This is not an outer destination. And I also teach a wisdom school. So, students come into the wisdom school, then they might start working privately with me, or they might work privately with me and then come into the wisdom school. Plus, I do events and things like that. So I put myself out there as someone who really assists people and I teach them the inner spiritual tools to live a divinely guided life.
Mm. That's wonderful. And um, so tell us how people come to you maybe seeking a particular thing. And I call this the difference between want and need, right? So they want some things and they come to you for their wants. And
Mm-hmm.
then by fulfilling their actual true needs, perhaps, or the needs that you perceive are maybe more at the root of what's causing certain wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I perceive it. Maybe you would describe it differently, but I perceive people come to me saying, "Oh, I want more clients," or "Oh, I need to build more traffic, I need to get more traffic," and then I go deeper and I look at, okay, well, what is actually your business structure and what is actually your marketing habits, all the stuff that they didn't realize that they really needed to develop to have the surface level stuff be successful. So how would you, what say a bit more about the sort of distinction in your business?
Yeah, I think of what I was addressing when you first asked me that question was the wants.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
actually, there are also the same number of people that come to me with a need. And the need is about pain, inner discomfort, not, living a fulfilled life, feeling like they're missing the boat, it's too late. Maybe they've gone through a recent upheaval in their life, a divorce, a life-threatening illness, something like that, and they're looking for peace. Um, or they've had some kind of spiritual awakening of some kind, and they feel lost and confused and kind of, being thrown around. The other area that I work a lot in is what I call sacred ambition. I really work with people's sacred calls. That's what I've gotten into in the last 4 years. And that thing between need and want is really important because when, as a life facilitator, as a life coach, as a life mentor, there are always deeper levels of why people seek out that kind of coaching, of direction, of that kind of thing, whether or not it's in the business arena like you, or it's in the personal arena more like me. There's always multiple levels that they're going for.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So, so that we can understand your business better, can you share, however you like, more about your offerings? So what services you offer, packages, programs. I know you have an event coming up. I know you have a wisdom school. And what I would love to understand, or help the audience understand behind all this, is what lessons have you learned through your business building that kind of got you to structure your services or programs in such a way? So the example that I'd like to give is that I started, I was actually just looking back at my business history. This is my 7th year in business. I was looking at this, and in my first 4 years of business, I did I do pretty much exclusively online courses. I mean, I called them group coaching programs. They were basically digital downloads, and then I did live Q&A calls every week to help the students. And then I shifted in year 4 and 5 to more membership programs, like lower price, $120 a month or $60 a month, and where they got my trainings on a kind of dripped out basis. And then finally, in year 6, which was last year, I shifted completely to just one-to-one. For me, it worked so much, and I'm in my 2nd year. Funny thing is, I'm only in my 2nd year of one-to-one coaching, one-to-one consulting, one-to-one coaching, one-to-one mentoring, after being 7 years in business. And I was financially, I was very successful in the first couple of years. One-to-many is a proven model. By one-to-many, I mean selling group programs, courses, that kind of thing, is a proven model for wealth, I guess, for financial wealth. For me, it didn't work so well because I didn't see the kind of transformation that I was hoping to see. And the dirty secret, I would say, in my industry of business training, business coaching, marketing training, there's a lot of hype, a lot of 6-figure this, 7-figure that, and people go into it, they buy such programs. And just from my own talking to my peers, and obviously I'm not going to name anybody, but my sense is that much less than 10% usually who buy such programs, whether it's $2,000 things or $500 things or $10,000 things, less than 10% actually implement in such a way to earn that money back. And and so I eventually said, I can't do this anymore, because I'm promising people all this wealth and marketing success, and for whatever reason, whether people love buying and collecting programs, or whether people whether they have certain skills that they still need to develop before whatever reason, it's like very few people actually make a go of it that are the same as the testimonials that we're all marketing. Those of us who are marketing coaches, we use these hyped up testimonials, and how many, very small percentage. So then I learned that one-on-one was really best for me at this time anyway. I feel great fulfillment. My clients are actually transforming for the first time, I feel like. And anyway, things are good. But then I also learned that my 12-month, my 3-month packages were probably a little too short, and my 12-month packages felt to me a little long. And so I'm probably going to settle on, starting next year, I'm going to probably settle on 6-month. So I'm kind of always learning about what packages work best for me and for sort of my ideal audience. But what have you learned, and what are your packages, and share with us about that?
Well, first of all, I could just about ditto everything you just said, George. So let me kind of jump in, and if I leave some holes, please re-ask me the questions.
Yes.
So I'm really kind of I love hearing your story, because I'm kind of opposite of you, and I think this might be really valuable for your listeners. I actually started off in 1990 as a counselor, and I had private clients.
What type of counseling are you doing?
Spiritual counseling in 1990, and I ran some groups, but mainly it was one-on-one. And when I published my book in 2002, it was out for a couple of years, and I said, this needs to be a course. People read the book and they go, oh, that's a great book. And they put it down and I go, wait a minute. You don't understand. This needs to be worked in your life. So I started the Wisdom School in 2005. Now, up until that time, George, I just had a website and I blogged. That was it. Okay. So I did everything in my home office. I saw clients in my home office. I advertised local. Well, you don't advertise, but it was word of mouth locally. My blog got some people out of state, but basically it was just I was kind of like a big fish in a little pond. Then in 2010, I had an experience that I call a sacred calling. That I really needed to bring my work out in a bigger way. That what I was doing was great, and I had a successful, counseling, coaching, mentoring practice, but I was really called to, wait a minute, there's more I need to be doing here with this. And I quite honestly was a bit taken aback by that. I floundered around, for about 6 months, and I was restless. I was confused. I kind of lost interest in what I was doing. And I was, the freshness had gone out of what I was doing. And I was going, what is going on? And I started paying more attention to what was going on online, telesummits, teleseminars, events, things like that. Had never been to an event before that are so popular. And in 2011, I signed up for one of those events. And I went to one of those events that you talked about, those events where you are invited and told the strategies and the systems to make a 6-figure business.
Yeah.
How to take your work out into the world. And right. I just said, that's what I'm going to do. So I signed up for this mastermind, high-powered mastermind. And I had a huge learning curve because I went from just having a website and blogging to, I didn't even know what an autoresponder was.
Right, sure.
This was in 2011.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, the learning curve that first year was huge for me. Sure. It was huge.
Yeah.
So I floundered around that year also trying to follow the models that were presented in that mastermind, doing that, starting my teleseminar. I started a live stream Wisdom School TV channel. I put the first module of my Wisdom School online, teaching it online before it had just been in, in person. What else did I do? I blogged more. I started doing some social media. I just kind of floundered around. And at the end of that first year, I, like you, wasn't seeing the kind of transformation in people that I was used to seing.
Yes.
I stepped back from everything. I just went, wait a minute. Something's not working here. Something it's not on track for me.
Yeah.
I was told to do these things. This would work. Did it increase my cash flow? Yes, it did. But still, I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. So I had to step back and say, what works for me? And I love that you have come to that place for you, because I think that's one of the keys for life coaches out there. You've got to find what works for you. Right. And joining maybe a mastermind or taking teleseminars on how to do Google Hangouts or up your LinkedIn profile and start getting clients that way or whatever. These are all well and good. But for me, I have to keep checking back inside, because the juice for me is, first of all, following divine guidance, and then having my clients really start to respond in the way that I'm looking for. I work with people that want to transform their lives. I don't work with people who are just window shopping. So I'm really interested in those sincere people that say, yes, I'm willing to put the energy and the time and the money investment to do this. So that's a long-winded way of saying, what do I offer now? Okay, so that was in 2011. It's now 2015. It's actually almost, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's almost exactly 4 years ago that I did this. What I do now. Uh, the one thing that I had not done and that was always in the back of my mind was a live event.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I launched a live event, and it's called Your Sacred Ambition, Lead from Your Divine Power so you can do well while doing good.
Mm.
In this event, I culminated all of the qualities that are really important to me around this type of work coming from a sacred calling.
Mm.
And in there is being comfortable with ambition, knowing that as a spiritual entrepreneur, we can be ambitious, being comfortable with power, knowing that we do have power, and it comes from what I call divine power.
Mm-hmm.
And also knowing that we do well and do good. And that's my business model.
Mm-hmm.
So this event, what I did was made an offer at the event, which I had been trained to do, and it went really well. And so I filled up my mentorship and I filled up the lesser offer. So I do that. That is like one of my big pieces that I have in place, because there are calls every month. There's retreats in that mentorship. So that fills up my calendar. I also have private clients. There are people that want to mentor with me privately. So I have, like a handful of people. I usually take about 6 a year. And those are people that I mentor for a whole year. Because I am looking for the deeper transformation of their life, and it takes that long. It takes that constant working with the deeper issues of who we are to be able to clear the old beliefs, the old what I call the clutter that's not who we are. So we can show up and be ourselves.
Yeah, it takes at least that long. Sometimes.
Yeah, well,
5 to
and
10 years.
a lot of them renew. But yeah, a year is a good chunk. There are certain things that I want people to, places that I want them to get to in that year for themselves. And if they want to continue, great. If they want to go on to work with someone else or do something else, great. So I do that. And then I also offer lesser priced teleseminars throughout the year, just to give people a taste of what I do, like a $97 offer or $197 offer. So, that might be a 4-call series. It might be a pre-recorded audio series where they download the audios, and then we have 2 or 3 live calls with me during it. So people can ask questions. If they have a particular place that they're stuck, I can help work with them, that kind of thing. And then I still teach my wisdom school online. And then I run I run spiritual retreats in person. So I do them here in New Mexico. And those are usually open to, you don't have to be working with me. You can just want to come do a spiritual retreat. We have some wonderful retreat centers around here in some beautiful, beautiful areas. So that's my business model at this time. And the one thing that I'm thinking about offering more in this coming year is actually Google Hangouts. So I'm on another learning curve, learning how to do these right now, because my marketing is really relational. I really believe that I'm building relationships with people. So I have people that say to me, I first heard you 10 years ago, and I'm now wanting to sign up for your program or whatever it is. So it's like, it's the long run, And so if you want to talk about learnings, I have a lot of learnings. So let me see if I can be really succinct.
Great.
Yeah. First thing I want to say to anyone out there in the life coaching business is find what works for you and really follow that inner guidance and whatever you want to call it. And I feel like most life coaches I know have some kind of inner guidance that they follow because they are wanting to live a more, happier, well-lived life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have, and to me, they kind of go hand in hand. So really follow what works for you, and don't try to do everything at once. One of the things that really I found my coach wisely coached me on. And that is when anytime you're trying something new, do a beta test of it.
Yeah.
In other words, you don't really know if people are going to buy what you offer.
Right.
So offer it as a beta, offer it a lesser price point,
Mm-hmm.
get the people in there. Do a $47 offer, a $97 offer, get a bunch of people in your thing, and then get testimonials. Do a survey at the beginning, do a survey at the end, show that, hey, people really moved on this, or they increased their clients, or they, they went from $4,000 to $6,000 a month, or whatever it is that, you're doing. Do a beta. And then from the beta, then you have data and you can go, okay, this works.
Yeah.
Or, well, this doesn't work. So that's one thing I would really encourage people to do. Do one thing at a time, because if you're doing this, and this, first of all, that's too much and you get scattered. But the other thing is that you don't really know what's working.
Yeah.
Because you're doing all these different things. Right. So you want to see, and a lot of times we are not checking in with ourselves and saying, do I really like doing this? Do I really like doing that? One of the things I learned this last year, like you, George, is I ran a 10-month, it's called a self-mastery lab. And I had 2 calls a month for these people. So it was, almost to 20. Well, it was almost too much. It was actually 14 calls. And at the end of it, I didn't like it because I never saw these people in person.
Right.
And I'm one of these people who really needs to, I want to work with you because I work a lot energetically with people.
Yeah.
I want to see you in person. Even if we did like Google Hangout or Skype like this.
Yeah.
I still wanted to be with them in person. So I'm changing it next year. I'm not going to do it that way because I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't happy. Even though they were, everybody was going, oh, this is so great. And I've, this transformed and I'm doing this differently. And, this is better. And I've let go of that. And, I wasn't happy. So like you said, it's always changing. We're always reinventing ourselves. And that's the other thing I want to say for life coaches out there is you must be willing to be resilient and also to be very flexible because the market has changed. How you get the word out has changed even since I got in 2011.
Yeah.
It's changed completely.
Yeah.
So another thing I'm doing is I'm doing a lot on social media. I'm running a Facebook contest right now for my event, and it's all relational. It's all free. It's setting up a group, inviting people in. I'm starting a Google Hangout on Wednesday, where I'm going to be sharing people's stories. I'm going to be teaching, and all of this is free. And the contest, hopefully, well, not hopefully, it's already got entries. I'm going to give away 3 tickets to my event. So everything, and that's another thing, be generous. Be really generous with what you do online. Overgive. Go the extra mile. It always comes back. It's because it's an energy exchange that we're doing here. Okay, I'll stop there.
Well, no, that's great. There's so much there that we could really unpack and learn from. So a couple of questions from what you've said thus far. One is, you mentioned wisdom school. What is a wisdom school, or what is your wisdom school? And you might use that to analogize what might other life coaches offer. Is it a membership site? Is it a group coaching program? So tell us more about how the wisdom school works.
Great. Thank you for asking that specific question. My wisdom school is in 2 sections, Wisdom School 1 and Wisdom School 2. And on 1, what I do is, it's not a membership site. It is a registration, and I keep the price low. I price it below $500. It is a 6-week class, and I have audio recordings. So they listen to the audio recordings, and then we get on Maestro conferencing. And because it's experiential based, everything that they've listened to, we now come do. So they listen, they get the information, they see kind of, and because I have a PowerPoint slides that go along with the audio, and then we get together, we do experiential work, and then I do debriefing. I work with people personally. So it's a deep dive into actually building a bridge between our human nature and our divine nature and creating heaven on earth is what I'm doing. It's called the Heaven on Earth Wisdom School.
Cool.
So yeah, that's an example. Then Wisdom School 2, though, if people want to go forward with Wisdom School 2, that's actually a 4-day intensive at my home in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh.
So, I would say of the people that do the Wisdom School 1, about a third of them go on to do Wisdom School 2. Now, Wisdom School 2, I charge a lot more. I charge $2,000 for Wisdom School 2. Okay.
Yeah.
But Wisdom School 1, I charge, less than 500. Right at, I think it's $497 or something like that. Sometimes I go up to $547, then go back down to $497. I stay right around 500. So that's an example of what I would call a medium price offering that to me, I would do several $47 teleseminars or $197 to get people to funnel people into the Wisdom School. I would do a lot of that.
Yeah. Okay. Earlier you mentioned that you did the live event, and by live, I'm assuming you meant like in person. People came into a room, and then from there you enrolled them into your mentorship program. So how did you? Of course, the question then is, how do you get people to the live event, or what kind of marketing did you do for people to say, yes, sure, I'd love to travel or go? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I do a live event at a hotel. So it is a hotel live event. Last year I had 50 people at the event. It was
How many days was it, or
it was 3 days. It's a
days,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I had it at a lovely hotel outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where we'll be again this year. Beautiful place. It's a Hyatt, so it's a lovely hotel property. Plus it's on Indian land. So already, we've got a sacred setting here. And how did I get people there? Well, I've told this story before. I think I met, of the 50 people in the room, I think I probably met 40 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did a lot of speaking.
Yes.
I spoke locally. I spoke in Albuquerque. I did Google Hangouts. I did people promoted me to their list. So we did, webinars. In other words, I spoke in front of people. I did not rely on email marketing. It does not work. I did not rely on that. I didn't even rely on social media. I did a lot of in-person. And also
you did a lot of, I'm sorry to interrupt. You mean you did a lot of in-person to market this event, or you meant just over time?
Yes.
Okay, to market the event.
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm doing the same thing this year, only I'm adding the social media to it, because but I'm combining it with the Google Hangout. So I'm not just doing the social media, Facebook. Plus I've got emails. I am doing emails. Plus I'm also blogging. I mean, I'm kind of doing everything this year, because I'm hoping to get closer to 100 in the event this year. So I also offer deals to people who may be, in other words, you can sign up, and actually in the month of May is my early enrollment. So you can sign up for $197 for this event, this 3-day event. So I keep the price really low to start off with, and then you can bring a friend for $97. So I set it up where people are, it's like a no-brainer. Of course, if you're traveling, you've got airfare and you've got hotel, obviously. So that's one of the reasons I keep it low. And then each month it goes up. So for instance, in June, it's going to be $297. In July, it's going to be $397. And I found that worked really well, because you get people in the door early. And that's one of the things that if you're doing a live event, you need early enrollers. You don't need people enrolling 2 weeks before, because you've got meals and you've got, all kinds of things to schedule.
Right.
Am I answering your questions?
Yeah, absolutely. And I should mention that I had an internet outage for about a minute.
Oh.
I think the Hangout kept going though, which is
okay.
nice, because it's being recorded on your side and on my side. So maybe it didn't matter. Maybe people didn't even know. So.
Well, I hope they got that information, because I want to say something about live events. live events are not for everyone.
Mm.
And when I'm talking about a live event, it does not have to be a hotel event.
Mhm.
It could be an event at a local meeting room, meeting space. It could be, you know, you just rent a room somewhere.
Mm.
You could have 6 people and do a live event. You could have 10 people and do a live event.
Mm. Mm.
To me, in this day and age, George, live events, people are hungry to get together with other people of like-hearted, or like-souled
Mm.
focus and really be in a group. You know, the internet is wonderful. I mean, this is, you know, wonderful to do Google Hangouts, but when you get people in a room, you know, it is
Yeah,
exponentially so much more
I
wonderful,
totally agree.
powerful. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I've only done a couple of live events in the past couple years, but every time I've done it, I'm like, I wish I did this all the time.
yeah.
Such a difference. Let's go a bit more into your message and what you have found to be working.
Mhm.
Because okay, so you are marketing something that is maybe less tangible, you might say, right? So a lot of life coaches are doing, maybe relationships, romantic relationships, or even parenting as a parent. Those are
Right.
obviously very tangible things. Some life coaches are focused on health, improving, maybe weight loss or fitness or that kind of thing,
Or aging, you know, how to
or
age
aging.
well or something
Right.
like that.
And then the other life coaches are doing more career type stuff. Again, very tangible. Now you're focused on something that, well, obviously your ideal audience understands it, but I guess here's the question.
I think you froze again. We might have lost you. Well, I'll just be patient. You know, I talk, but I don't want to talk over you. I'm not sure what I need to do. I know. I'll drink some water.
Okay. I think I'm back. So let me try asking the question again, and later when this audio is edited, it'll be right. So, you know, your message is, or your service is maybe, it might on the surface seem less tangible for people, but your ideal audience, of course, understands or is already, has a certain foundation for spiritual things, and so they're more open to that. But have you noticed? Maybe you could share with us an example of a message that you used that didn't work so well.
Oh, I really want to answer this question. So I hope the internet doesn't go out on us because I really want to answer this question. This is really key. So I'll wait again. Come back, George. Come back, George.
Okay, Rebecca, I think we're back again.
You know, I really want to answer this question, so let me just answer it because I think I know what you're getting to.
Okay.
Messaging. OMG. Yes, I am inviting people to something that is very intangible and very hard to put into a message. So I have, let's just say I have written and rewritten and hired people to help me for 4 years. And what I have found that works is, first of all, I have to be very, very clear, and I have to know what it is that I really want to say, and I have to address it in a way that people get it. So I use a lot of analogies, and I use a lot of stories of, clients, obviously anonymously. I use my own story a lot. And I get just really simple with my message. Things like, I sent out an e-zine this morning that said, um, sacred calls can show up in the darndest ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they show up because we're going through some kind of life 2x4. And we realize, and we look around and we see our life in pieces on the floor and we go, there's got to be something else. But sometimes they show up when we're walking the dog, like a lightning bolt that goes through us. And all of a sudden we just see clearly, what we're called to do. So I use a lot of imagery in the way that I talk. And then I go into what I know happens inside when we have a sacred call, and I talk about that, the confusion and the discombobulation and how the universe comes in and really tests us. And how all of a sudden we'll get, a job offer of something that we swore we'd never do before, but God, it's got, a really nice price tag on it. I make a lot of money going doing that. And yet what I'm really called to do is start this kind of initiative to help serve the greater good, which all sacred calls do. So, I've written a lot. I write a lot, and I throw away a lot of what I write. I write and I rewrite. And the more that I write and the more that I speak it, quite honestly, George, it helps get the message clear. So I would say, to people that, first of all, if you're not good at this, get some help. There are some great people out there that really can help you get down to the message that you really want to say. And once they show you kind of how to call it out of all the things that you want, you get it. You go, oh, okay, now I get it. I get how I can structure this and say this. And that's what I had to do. I had to get help. And I still have help. I'm actually in the middle of writing a book right now on sacred ambition. And I have a writing coach, and I send it off to her and she sends it back and she goes, this is really clear. This, not so much, And, so it is a constant honing of bringing forward the message. And, the other thing for me, George, is that I don't give just information. I want to stir people and I want to inspire people. And there is something, so I'm also keying into energy when I speak, when I write. I'm wanting what I write and speak to have an energy about it. So that's also what I do.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. So you've mentioned several times about your coaches. Would you mind sharing with us, if you like, who your coaches are, or the ones that you would recommend that we look at? Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Andrea J. Lee has been my coach for the last, since I started. And her
website, just for those of you who don't know, is wealthythoughtleader.com.
I would say for anyone out there who's just starting out or really struggling, or maybe he's been around the block, maybe you signed up for one of those big mastermind programs and invested $25,000 and you didn't make it back, I really recommend her work. She is dedicated to really helping anyone start making money, in what they're doing online. So I highly recommend her. Plus, she's a delightful person, just very, very heart-based, and knows her stuff. She, for people who don't know who Andrea J. Lee is, she actually worked with Thomas Leonard. So who was the father of coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching came from Thomas Leonard, and Andrea Lee was with his organization, and he actually gave all of his rights to her when he died. Wow. So
I didn't know that part. That's amazing.
So of all this material. So she has been around. She started many businesses, as well as what she does. So I would highly recommend her for anyone that's looking for a coach.
That's great. And you also mentioned your writing coach. Is that someone you?
Yes. Oh, I love this. Isabel Parlett. the what does she call herself?
Something
Uh,
shaman, right?
the something shaman.
Right? I know.
Let me spell it so people can Google her. Isabel, Isabel. Parlett is Parlett. And soundbite shaman. That's what she
The
calls
soundbite
herself.
shaman. There you go.
Soundbite shaman. And that's probably if you Google soundbite shaman. Isabel is a wizard when it comes to calling out that essential message in what you want to say. So I really recommend her. She, again, is a delightful person. And everybody I work with is delightful persons. That's part of my criteria.
Well, it's because you're a delightful person, and you're mirroring that. You're mirroring
well,
that.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, either one of those I highly recommend.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's see, a couple last final questions is, what are you working on that you'd love to share? I mean, besides, or maybe to remind us again, and where could we find you? Where should we go and follow up with you?
Yes. So my website is RebeccaESkeele.com, and it's Rebecca E. Skeele, Skeele, a lot of E's, Skeele.com. And if you go to my website and click event hosts, you will see a link to my event, the 2015 event, Your Sacred Ambition. It's August 6th, 7th, and 8th outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Would love for you to go to that page, check it out, and see if it really resonates with you. There's a little video there of people who did it last year, their testimonials, and they are flying. So, it is at the end of an event, but just want to say that. If you'd like to explore more of your sacred calling and really what sacred ambition is, then I'd really suggest that you come find me on Facebook. I'm running a contest right now. All you have to do is friend me, Rebecca Skeele, on Facebook, and just send me a message that you want to join the group. And right now we've got about 80 members in the group, and it's growing every day. And what you do to enter the contest is you come up with an image that represents your sacred call to sacred ambition in the little 20-word description. And you enter the contest, and at the end of the month, it only runs in May, so we have plenty of time. At the end of the month, 3 people will be picked to get 3 free tickets. And then 2 people will be picked that are good commenters. And you'll get my audio course, Bridge to Your Big Life. It's a 6-week audio course that has a lot of great information in it about how to work the inner in more self-compassion and self-loving. And then I started Google Hangout on Wednesday. And so if you join the Facebook group, you'll hear all about the Google Hangout. I'm doing a 4-part series on sacred calls. I have people lined up who are going to share their story. It's going to be a little 10-minute story about how did the sacred call come to you? Where were you? Are you creating a business or an initiative out of that? If so, how's that going for you? What are your challenges? And sacred calls, I divide them into, I have 3 different categories for sacred calls, because some sacred calls are not for the world. I want to say that right off. They're really for ourself. Mm-hmm. And it's an inner thing, and we then live it through our relationships, being a great parent or a great spouse, or just being, a great human being. So sacred calls, some of them are not for the world. Some of them are just beginning to emerge. And when they start to emerge, there's certain characteristics that go along with them. And I'll be interviewing people that are in the emergent stage, as I call it. And then some people, they have it and they're like going, yes, I need to really have my ambition and my power serve my sacred call. That's what I call sacred ambition. So that has its own other challenges and experiences when people are in that stage. And I'll be interviewing all stages. So come join me on Google Hangouts.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. So any final words of advice, inspiration, encouragement for us as we go?
I think the first place we always want to start is with ourself. in anything we're doing in the world, we want to be really honest with ourselves. If what you are doing is not working, please do not get into wishful thinking about it and magical thinking. If it's not working, be honest with yourself and then decide, but this is really what I'm supposed to do. Then stop what you're doing and find what works. I see this a lot. People say, but so-and-so said this is the way I was supposed to do it, or I'm following so-and-so's model, or I signed up and I paid, $25,000 for this mastermind, and that's what they said I was supposed to do, and it's not working. Be honest, it's not working. And find what does work. And there is no shame in that. There is no shame. It's like we all are. I had to do it. I had to step back and go, this isn't working. I had to say, I don't, and then put it out to the universe of, okay, I need to find, some help here and some support, and really follow my heart on what was working. So I guess that's what I would say.
Beautiful. That's a great piece of advice to end on. So as we end this particular episode, I always like to remind all of us that we are deeply cared for beyond what we can imagine. The destiny of our consciousness, of our soul, is secure and beautiful and ever more creative and loving and wise. So with that in mind, let's keep our hearts open to sacred guidance in our life, and let's keep doing our highest work.
Yes.
Be well, everyone. Thanks again, Rebecca.
Thank you, George. Bye.
Bye-bye.